Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kabiviriditam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shri Madatatam Bhuvigrinanti ye Buridajanaha. The nectar of the words is the life for those who are scorched by the world. The words which have been uttered by the knowers of truth, which wipe out sins, the very hearing of which is beneficial, which are beautiful, pleasing to the ears, pleasing to the hearts, which are inexhaustible. Those who recount them on the earth are the givers of plenty. Talks with Swami Vivekananda, Rig Veda, Max Muller, The Theory of Creation, Swami Vivekananda's Great Heart, Need for the Study of Scriptures, Service of Living Beings. Place Calcutta, Balaram's House, year 1897. Very interesting topic tonight. For the last 10 days, the disciple, Sharachandra Chakraborty, had been studying Shayana's commentary on the Rig Veda with Swamiji, who was staying there at the house of late Babu Balaram Bose at Bagwazar. Max Muller's volumes on Rig Veda had been brought from a wealthy friend's private library. Swamiji was correcting the disciple every now and then and giving him the true pronunciation or construction as necessary. Sometimes while explaining the arguments of Shayana to establish the eternity of the Vedas, Swamiji was praising very highly the commentator's wonderful ingenuity. Sometimes again, while arguing with the deeper significance of the doctrine, he was putting forward a difference in view and indulging in an innocent squib at Shayana. Rig Veda. Is considered the ancient scriptures in the world. Each Veda has 4 parts: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. We have 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Jujur Veda, Atharva Veda. In the beginning of the Vedas, we find Samhita, hymns, glorifying gods and deities. Second, Brahmana, rituals, Vedic sacrifice. Third, Aranyaka, prayer and meditation. Fourth, Upanishads, philosophy. So Upanishad is called Vedanta at the end of the Vedas. Anta means end. The Vedanta means end of the Vedas. So that is Upanishads. Swamiji started the Vedas while he was traveling in Gujarat from a Pandit. There he read Sanskrit grammar. He was well versed in Sanskrit, of course. The disciple is also a Sanskrit scholar. He was reading, but his pronunciation was not good. The Bengalis will say Atta, Atma. So Swamiji was correcting, your pronunciation is not good. Hey, you did not break it. You see, Sanskrit, when you translate, if you do not break, the meaning does not come. If you give a wrong pause, wrong break, meaning will not come. So it is very difficult sometimes how to break the words. Do you know what? There are two things in Sanskrit grammar, Sandhi and Samash. Sandhi means breaking the vowel and the consonant. Articles, how to break it. Borner Milon is called Sandhi. Swarbarno, Banjanvarno. Vowels, what is called vowels and consonants. The how to connect both and make it shorter, that is called Sandhi. Connecting two words. And Shamash is combining the words. Example, Singhasana. Singha means lion, asana means seat. Singhasana means throne of the king. He is seated on the Singhasana. So Singha, Chinnita, it is a Karmadhara Samash. But the asana has a symbol of a Singha, lion, means that is the seat of the king. King, as lion is the king of the beast, so this is the asana. This is the way Sanskrit grammar works. So Swamiji was correcting his disciple about his grammar, construction. Then he was praising the person who wrote the commentary of the Rig Veda, Shayanacharya. So Swamiji said, look, this person is really a wonderful genius. Sometimes ordinary people cannot understand the Vedas, the Upanishads, without going through commentaries, because we do not know those words. Really, we could not enter Upanishad without the help of Shankara. They are illumined souls. They know what is the proper meaning of each word. So Swamiji was saying, oh, it is very good. And sometimes Swamiji also was a genius. So sometimes he is giving his interpretation of those words. While our study had proceeded thus for a while, Swamiji raised the topic about Max Muller and continued thus. Well, do you know? My impression is that it is Shayana who is born again as Max Muller to revive his own commentary on the Vedas. I have had this notion for long. It became confirmed in my mind. It seems that, confirmed in my mind, it seems after I had seen Max Muller. Even here in this country, you don't find a scholar so persevering and so firmly grounded in the Vedas and the Vedanta. Over and above this, what a deep, unfathomable respect for Sri Ramakrishna. Do you know, he believes in his divine incarnation? And what great hospitality towards me when I was his guest. Seeing the old man and his lady, it seems to me that they were living their home life like Boshishta and Arundhati. At the time of parting with me, tears came into the eyes of the old man. Max Muller. It was in 1896. Swamiji was in London. In the 19th century, which is that Max Muller wrote an article on Sri Ramakrishna. And it became a bonfire. You see, you will have to understand. India's under British rule. And here is a man He's a great Orientalist. He is German. But he was a professor of Oxford University. And very well known, great scholar. So Swamiji was his guest. And Swamiji encouraged him to write a biography of Sri Ramakrishna. I think that is one of the first English biography of Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishnaji's sayings. Swami Sharadananda helped him giving all information about Sri Ramakrishna to him. Anyhow, so Swamiji was the guest and Swamiji was deep feeling for him. Then he says, when I talked to Sri Ramakrishna, he understood and he believed that Sri Ramakrishna was an incarnation of God. You see, this kind of testimony, approval, at that time was very vital for Swamiji. He was sending the journal, the article which Ramakrishna wrote to the American devotees. Look who Ramakrishna was. At that time there is no literature. Now we have so much literature about Ramakrishna. You see, literature is very vital, very powerful. Pen is mightier than sword. Pen. Seeing the old man, but it looks like Boshishta and Arundhati, Swamiji's impression. And you know, when I was leaving, that professor shed tears for me. But it is not easy to get to see a person who is a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. Disciple. But sir, if Shayana himself became Max Muller, then why was he born as a Melecho instead of being born in the sacred land of India? Melecho. Downcast. Oh, downcast. Western people, you know. Why did this Shayana be born in Germany or England or America? India is the spiritual, you know, land of spirituality, so he should be born here. Then Swamiji is answering, because this man is very orthodox Brahmin, so he does not want that such a great man should be born in other countries. Swamiji, the feeling and the distinction that I am an Aryan, Arjo, and the other is a Mlecho, come from ignorance. But what are Varnashrama and caste divisions to one who is the commentator of the Vedas, the shining embodiment of knowledge? To him they are wholly meaningless, and he can assume human birth wherever he likes for doing good to mankind. Especially if he did not choose to be born in a land which excelled both in learning and wealth, where would he secure the large expenses for publishing such stupendous volumes? Didn't you hear that East India Company, that at that time British, paid 9 lakhs of rupees in cash to have the Rig Veda published? Even this money was not enough. Hundreds of Vedic Pandits had to be employed in this country on monthly stipends. Has anybody seen in this age here, in this country, such profound yearning for knowledge, such prodigious investment of money for the sake of light and learning? Max Muller himself has written it in his preface that for 25 years he prepared only the manuscripts. Then the printing took another 20 years. It is not possible for an ordinary man to drudge for 45 years in his life with one publication. Just think of it. Is it an idle fancy of mine to say that he is Shayana himself? Swamiji was answering his disciple, why did he born in other countries? Swamiji said, look, the birth of a great soul does not depend upon a geographical position or anything like that. Moreover, if you would not born in the West and you would not get chance to print this this translation of the Rig Veda into English. The British government just spent like 9 lakhs of rupees at that time, 9 lakh. 9 lakhs of rupees at that time, just think of that in 1890s. And spending 45 years to prepare one book. I think Rig Veda, I don't remember how many volumes they published it. It just came Dash Mahamandal. It is huge. You see, there is another problem. Vedic grammar and the present grammar are not the same. Grammar changes. Vedic grammar is different. We generally don't understand without going through commentary. Modern Sanskrit we understand, which is very archaic Sanskrit. After this talk about Max Muller, the reading of the Vedas was resumed. Now Swamiji began variously to support the view of Shayana that creation proceeded out of the Vedas. He said, Veda means the sum total of eternal truths. The Vedic rishis experienced those truths. They can be experienced only by seers of the supersensuous and not by common men like us. That is why in the Vedas the term rishi means the seer of the truth of the mantras and not any brahmana with the holy thread hanging down the neck. The division of society into the castes came about later on. Veda is of the nature of Shabda or the idea. It is but the sum total of ideas. Shabda, according to the old Vedic meaning of the term, is the subtle idea which reveals itself by taking the gross form later on. So, owing to the dissolution of the creation, the subtle seeds of the future creation become involved in the Vedas. Accordingly, in the Puranas, you find that during the first divine incarnation, the Minavatara, the Veda, Min means the divine God incarnated as a fish, Matsya avatar. The Veda is first made manifest. In this incarnation, the Veda is first revealed. The other creative manifestations began to follow. Or in other words, all the created objects began to come into existence, to come into concrete being out of the Shabdas or ideas in the Veda. For in Shabda or idea, all gross objects have their subtle form. Creation had proceeded in the same way in all previous cycles or kalpas. This you find in the Shanda mantra of the Vedas. Surjo Chandramasau Dhata Yatha Purvam Akalpayat Prithivi Divam Chantariksha Atho Sa. The sun, the moon, the earth, the atmosphere, the heaven, the upper spheres, all the creatures projected in the same manner and process as in previous cycles. Do you understand? Now I shall have to explain. Rishi, who discovered the Vedas? Rishis. So he says, Rishayo mantra drashtaru, natu Vedasya kartaru. Rishi, the sages, are the seers of the mantra. They did not create the mantras. They are not the creator of the mantras. They are the seers. And these are all revelations. Our Vedic Vedas are the revelations to the rishis. The truth revealed to them. They are very pure, full of renunciation. Their mind is clean, so the truth revealed. Please, Swami, why do you talk about Veda so much? Do you know why? Culture, spirituality are embedded in the Vedas. Otherwise, human beings will be like animals if they do not have any education or culture. So always you will find in the Puranas, the demons are trying to destroy the Vedas. Why? They want to destroy the culture. They want hygienous, enjoyment, sensual enjoyment, and food enjoyment, and nothing else. That is their goal. We find in this world, most people are lead godless life, no culture, but plenty of money. Good food, good enjoyment, many cars, many homes. But that doesn't mean that person is culture. You see, Swamiji made a good remark. Religion first begins touching his stomach from there. Good food. This religion is good. It gives us good food. It takes many, many lives to come religion in the heart, feelings. And it many, many lives to come the religion in the head. So Vedas are the head. That is the highest wisdom, knowledge, love, unselfishness, purity. These are the values of life. I have money, so I drink and I do all sorts of things, enjoyment. But that man doesn't have any culture. That is the reason they are talking about the Vedas, Upanishads. Those things, those things are in home, they show that you are a man of culture. Then Swamiji was talking about the creation through the sound. All creation came from the sound. Read the Bible. In the Genesis chapter, in the very beginning, you will find, let there be water. There is water. Let there be sun. There is sun. Let there be light. There is light. Let there be earth. There is earth. Let there be food. There is food. These are all sounds from the lips of God, and creation came. So this Vedic also, same thing. It is Shabda Brahmavada. The whole creation came from the sound. Sound comes from silence. Again merges into silence. Shabda. You know, there is a call called Spotovada. Do you know how does it go? Ba. What does it say? Ba. Fe. What does it mean? Ba. Fe. Lo. Oh, he's talking about buffalo, an animal. How the sound, one after another, comes and it brings the meaning. That is the way it works. Sound. The whole world is moving through sound. Oh, you are a wonderful person. Immediately I see your smiley face. Oh, Swami, feels good for me. You are awful, you are stupid, you are no good. Immediately your face changes. Your facial expression changes. Sometimes this sound will make you happy, sometimes this sound make you unhappy. It is amazing how these sounds work in our life. We sometimes appreciate feelings, it comes through the sound. Sound. sound brings the ideas. There are 4 stages of sound. Para, Pushyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. Para stage of the sound, unmanifested. Shakti, power. Really sound has tremendous power. Somebody's lecture can inspire you. That's coming through the sound. And somebody's lecture may depress you. That also comes through sound. Really sound can do anything. If you read Swamiji's lectures loudly, you will be inspired. And if you read newspaper, all the bad things, then you will be depressed. All nothing but sound. Now, para. Para is the stage where unmanifested sound. That is Brahma, Shabda Brahma. The second stage called Pushyanti. Pushyanti means the sound is just slightly manifested as the ideas. That is Ishvara, God. Come one stage down, mental plane. I am lecturing, I am talking to you, but my mind is bringing all these words through my mouth. My mind is thinking the Vedas. My mind is thinking of the topic tonight. Something before you speak, you think. So the sound at that time is in that Madhyama, in the mental plane. Then Vaikari, verbal, explosion. We express that sound. We are studying Swami Vivekananda's talks with Swami Vivekananda. He is describing Rig Veda. So this sound I am expressing to tell you that what we are studying, expression. So para, Pushyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari. These are the 4 stages of sound. Another word we found, which is a very beautiful word. Surjo Chandramasau Dhata Yatha Purvam Akalpayat. As you see sun, moon, all this world and all these things, Dhata, Vidhata, creator. As he did it in the previous cycle, the present cycle also, he created the same way. So who knows, in the previous cycle, perhaps we are seated here like this and had class on Swamiji. Who knows? Not exactly, when it comes, that is the way the scripture says, Rig Veda says that. Disciple, but sir, how in the absence of an actual concrete object can this shabda or idea be applied, and for what? And how are the names to be given at all? Very interesting. It's a great philosophy. Before creation, no objects were there, no materials, no objects, no vastu. How the name came? Swamiji was answering. Yes, Swamiji. Yes, that is what on first thought seems to be the difficulty. But just think of this. Supposing this jug breaks into pieces, does the idea of jug become null and void? No, because the jug is the gross effect, while the idea jug is the subtle state or the shabda state of the jug. In the same way, the shabda state or every object in its shabda state and the things we see, hear, touch or perceive in any manner are the gross manifestations of entities in the subtle or shabda state. Just as we may speak of the effect and its cause. Even when the whole creation is annihilated, the shabda as the consciousness of the universe or the subtle reality of all concrete things exists in Brahman as the cause. At the point of creative manifestation, this sum total of causal entities vibrates into activity, as it were, and as being the sonant, material substance of each all, the eternal primal sound of Om continues to come out of itself. And then, from the causal totality, comes out first the subtle image or Shabda form of each particular thing, and then its gross manifestation. Now, that causal Shabda or world consciousness is Brahman and it is the Veda. This is the purport of Shayana. Do you now understand? Let me tell you what I was talking about. Think of that. We have watches. We destroyed all watches of the world into the Atlantic Ocean. No watches. But the watches, the Swiss people, that idea of the watch is in their mind. With that idea, they will again manufacture watches. We know it. Cars. We are continuously improvising, improving various models of car. Destroy all cars from this world, again the human minds that they will again discover, invent various things about car. That is the way it works. Swamiji is explaining that the gross things you are not seeing, that at the time of cosmic dissolution, gross things are not there. But the subtle, that shabda, that sound, jug, food, chair, table, microphone, telephone, all these things are in the sound, in the causal plane. That is the Vedas, the sum total of all knowledge. Sum total of all knowledge is the Vedas. Prunhiti Sarvam, these Vedas, that knowledge and Brahman are the same. Manifests, knowledge manifests. The primal sound is Om, as I always say. A starts from the throat and M closes the mouth. Om, Om. That is the entire gamut of the sound system. Shabda, sound. All coming from Om, Om, Om. And the sound is anadi, without beginning, without end. No beginning, no end. If you read that Shabda Shastra, the so-called Nada Brahman, perhaps you have seen some musicians. First, before they start singing, they bring their sound within. How they will sing, what raga, what ragini, sound. Then they give all these various kinds of shape of the different ragas. All comes from the sound. I remember a Swami told a very beautiful story. In South Africa, a barber was shaving a white man, an Englishman. And all of a sudden his face was a little cut, and the man scolded that you are a stupid. So he did not know what stupid means. After 25 years, when he read books and he got the meaning of stupid, he went to the court to sue that man that he told me stupid. It is a defamation suit. That he told me stupid. Then the judge said that why soon after you came after so many years? Well, I didn't know the meaning. Today I got the meaning, so I came to show you. He was telling that how this sound works. I was reading another funny story. An Irish farmer, illiterate, never went to the church. But one day he went to the church to hear, and he heard that minister was telling that it is the Jewish people killed our Lord Jesus. They crucified Jesus. So the farmer heard it and he was very sad. He came out, he found a Jewish person on the street and he started to hit him. Why are you hitting me? You don't know me, I do not know you. Why are you hitting me? You are Jewish. But that is true. You killed our Jesus. But that is 1900 years ago. But I heard it today. Swamiji told this story. That is 1900 years ago. But it doesn't matter, but I heard it today. See the power of the sound. Do you now understand? Disciple, no, sir, I can't clearly comprehend it. Swamiji, well, you understand, I suppose, that even if all the jugs in the universe were to be destroyed, the idea or shabda, jag, would still exist. All jugs are gone, but the jag, that sound, it would remain in the dictionary. Correct? Jag. Gata. So if the universe be destroyed, I mean, if all the things going to make up the universe be smashed to atoms, why should not the ideas or shabdas representing all of them in consciousness be still existing? And why can't a second creation be supposed to come out of them in time? But sound is there, the ideas are there, objects are not there, but all objects come from the ideas. All objects, they come from the ideas, thoughts. That's what Swamiji is talking about. Think of that, cell phone. In 70s, 80s, I did not see any cell phone. How this cell phone came tonight, I was watching some ABC. They're telling that average human beings using 45 days a year only with the cell phone. 45 or something like that days. Your life, 45 years of his life is with cell phone. Just think of that. How much time we are devoting with this conversation and with these external objects. Disciple, but sir, if one cries out jag, jag, that does not cause any jag to be produced. Very good question. If I say jag, 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 will jag come? Swamiji, no, nothing is produced if you or I cry out like that, but the jag must be revealed if the idea of it rises in the Brahman, which is perfect in its creative determination. When we see even those established in the practice of religion, sadhakas, bringing about by willpower, things otherwise possible to happen, what to speak of Brahman with perfect creativeness of will? At the point of creation, Brahman becomes manifest as Shabda and then assumes the form of Nada or Om. Swamiji says, ordinary people like you and me, if I say jag, 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 jag will not come. But if Ishvara says jag, immediately jag will come. Because Sattva Sankalpa, his truth, his resolution is true, his words are true. Only truth comes from his mouth. But forget it, nor a Brahman and this. Even ordinary some sadhakas, advanced yogis, they are Bhak Sampalpa, Bhak Siddha. Bhak Siddha means, if I say, you will die in 3 days, that person will die in 3 days. Or you treated me, you will get an accident. You will get an accident. Because he is Bhak Siddha. Whatever they will say, sometimes, Sri Ramakrishna says, Holy Mother says, don't make a holy man angry. If he curses you, it may cause, his curse is very powerful. It may take shape. Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother gave her a good example. Holy Mother of Sri Ramakrishna, don't make 4 people angry. A river, don't build a house on the bank of the river. If river is angry, he will break all of your house. Bull with horn will hit you. Never make a bull angry. Third, bull, matal, drunkard. Don't make a drunkard angry. He may hit you because he is not conscious about himself. And a monk, sannyasi, don't make a monk angry. He may curse you. But the good monk does not curse anyhow. Some are there in our scriptures, you will find Durvasa. Some rishis are just like cobra. Shh. If you say anything, he will hiss you in no time. Or Bhuteshanandaji used to say, if you read the Purana, some Muni rishis, they are like cobras. They will hiss you. At the next stage, the particular shabdas or ideas that variously existed in former cycles, such as bhur, bhuva, sah, cow, man, etc., begin to come out of that Om. As soon as these ideas appear in Brahman, endowed with perfect will, the corresponding concrete things also appear, and gradually the diversified universe becomes manifest. Do you now understand how Shabda is the source of creation? Disciples, yes, I just formed some idea of it, but there is no clear comprehension in the mind. Swamiji, well, clear comprehension in the inward realization is no small matter, my son. When the mind proceeds towards self-absorption in Brahman, it passes through all these stages, one by one, to reach the absolute, nirvikalpa state at last. In the process of entering into Samadhi, first the universe appears as one mass of ideas. Then the whole thing loses itself in a profound Om. Then even that melts away, even that seems to be between being and non-being. That is the experience of the eternal Nada. And then the mind becomes lost in the reality of Brahman. And then it is done. All is peace. Do you know what? Swamiji is telling his own experience, his own nirvikalpa samadhi. That how the level, graduation, mind goes. First to stop the mind. The sound will stop. Thakur said that. Shandha Gayatri te lop hai. Gayatri Omkare loy hai. Omkar Parabrahma loy hai. Gayatri. Evening, our spiritual disciplines, the Brahmanical mantras, Gayatri mantras, the Gayatri merges into Om and Om into Brahman. This is all Bilom, Onulom. Ascending order, descending order. Mind goes up, merges into Brahman, then again come down. There are several levels of consciousness according to Vedanta. Anyhow, very interesting. And then the mind becomes lost in the reality of Brahman, and then it is done, all is peace. Ami Ami Biram Jathai. Swamiji composed a song on Samadhi. His experience he composed, put it in a song. Ami Ami Biram Jathai. This ego dissolves. Ego dissolves means all division dissolves. It is ego is the separation between the infinite and the finite. The disciple sat mute, thinking that none could express and explain it in the way Swamiji was doing, unless the whole thing were matter of one's experience. He did not translate, some extra Bengali portion is there. The disciple felt that Swamiji must have experienced the highest samadhi and war plane many times, otherwise he could not explain this abstruse, these difficult things in such a lucid way, that he said. He is talking from his experience, that he said. Swamiji then resumed the subject. Great men like avatars, in coming back from Samadhi to the realm of I and mine, first experience the unmanifest nada, which by degrees grows distinct and appears as Om, and then from Omkara, the subtle form of the universe, as the mass of ideas becomes experienced, and last, the material universe comes into perception. But ordinary sadhakas somehow reach beyond nada through immense practice, and when once they attain to the direct realization of Brahman, they cannot again come back to the lower plane of material perception. They melt away in Brahman, kshire niravat, like water in milk. When all this talk of the... Anyhow, kshire niravat. Sri Ramakrishna, Swamiji many times saw how Thakur went into Samadhi and how he came back. আমি শুক্তো খাবো, তামাক খাবো, জল খাবো. He is coming, Swami Sri Ramakrishna is coming down from Samadhi, creating some desire. I shall eat bitter squash curry. I shall smoke tobacco. I shall drink water. I shall do this. Then people understood that he is coming down. He is coming down to the lower plane. You know, when we read these things in the Gospel of Ramakrishna, and when we read these things, we see that what is going on. It is beyond the comprehension of ordinary people, because we have never reached that plane, nirvikalpa. Our mind completely dissolves into cosmic consciousness. But you see avatar or the Ishwar Koti. Ishwar Koti means people, those who, great souls, those who are similar to gods, like Vivekananda, Brahmananda, those people can come back. But ordinary people cannot come back. Why? Because they do not have that kind of control. You remember Sri Ramakrishna gave an illustration. There is a big wall. 4 friends wanted to know which is behind that wall. The first friend, they had a ladder. They went on the top of the wall and saw that thing. Ha 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 ha. That first man laughed and jumped into the other side and did not come back. Second person did the same thing. Third person did the same thing. The fourth person saw what is the other side. Then he came back, came down from the ladder and told humanity, listen, I have seen which is behind this wall, the infinite, Brahman, God. I have seen. And if you want immortality, try to realize that Brahman. You see, it is in the Upanishad. Shinanda Vishye Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tostu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat Tamiva Vidito Dimritumeti Nanyapanta Vidyate Anayo. Listen, O children of immortal bliss. Listen, those who live in this celestial abode. I have seen the effulgent one. Knowing him alone, you can transcend death. There is no other way. There is no other way. Sri Ramakrishna is the fourth person who went to the top of the ladder. He saw what is the other side. Then he came to humanity. If you really want peace and bliss in life, this is the way. Come with me with the ladder and see what is there. See God with your open eyes. Then you will be free, liberated. That is the way. We shall stop here tonight because the next section will be very interesting. Girish Ghosh will come and ruin the class of the Vedas. He will come. Swami Girish came. I just tell you what will going to happen. Girish came. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, we are studying the Vedas. Then Swamiji was telling, GC, all through your life only Kesto, Vishtu, all the gods and goddesses bow down. You never cared for the Vedas and you have never studied these things. Girish says, Bhai, I have no time. I am a manager, actor in this theater. He took the Vedas. Do you know what did he do? Joy, what did he say? Joy, Vedarupi, Sri Ramakrishna's joy. Joy, Vedarupi, Sri Ramakrishna's joy. He took the Vedas on his head and said, joy, victory to the Ramakrishna who is the embodiment of the Vedas. He put it on his head. Then he told, brother, those things are for you. You people teach. I have no desire to teach people. Then he said, he started to present all the injustice, bad things of the society, how women are ill-treated, and how a widow is deceived and cheated, how so much abortion and all this, all sad, gloomy pictures of the society he presented one after another to Swamiji. Vivekananda collapsed. Vedic study stopped, class stopped. Tears came from his eyes. He left the room. He left the room, cried, Swamiji. Then in the meantime, Girish was telling the disciple, did you see? You think your guru is only a Pandit. He's a great lover. Look, he cried for humanity. Did you see it? I prove it. Sir, you ruined my class. Forget your excuse. Then Swamiji came back and he would tell, you are right. He called his disciple, let us start some kind of philanthropic activities. And Girish left. It will be, that Girish and Swamiji's, that dialogue will be fantastic dialogue. That we shall have class in our, when we shall start next time. It is very interesting. You should, if you do not have this book, you should have a copy. Talks with Swami Vivekananda. So tonight is our last class, then our class will begin after the summer vacation. Of course, I shall go to India. I shall be back early part of October. Sometimes in the middle of October we shall again start. But George is putting all our classes in MP3 in our YouTube.
Website.
Huh?
In our website.
In our website. All the classes, many scriptures, I gave. Shri and Raj and George, all their people are will upload all those things. So now website and YouTube will be your guru. I like this. First December 1968, I bought this book. I was a brahmachari. 1st December 1968.
That's when they went to the moon.
Huh?
That's the Christmas they went to the moon. The astronauts went.
Is that so?
Yeah, and they read the scripture, didn't they? While they were rounding the moon, and God created and all that kind of stuff. Maybe they didn't land. Maybe they just read the scripture or something.
I went to Smithsonian Institution and I touched the rock of the moon. I touched it, and I saw that module which landed on the moon. That is also is there in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington D.C. But our old Swami did not believe. He is a 19th century, 20th century man. American people went somewhere and brought some rocks. Nobody can go to the moon. He did not believe it. Jaima, how many people watch?
14 people are on now.
Good.
Yes.